have just met the president.
Yes, the meeting was very successful. President Reuven acknowledged the Armenian genocide and has always supported recognition of the genocide. And everyone was pleased with his response and his interest in the subject. And it was a very thoughtful approach from him. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And he said he himself, his personal views are well known.
Yeah.
He has said them over and over again. But as a president, he has to represent the positions of the state.
Yeah.
But he said his positions are well known, and that's that.
He was very clear with this.
What did he exactly say about the Armenian genocide? What was the main message?
He used the word once.
No.
He did use the word once.
But not together with the Armenians.
He said whether it was a tragedy or a genocide, is a historical question. But he said, but he said that he himself, his position is well known. It has been his position ever since he was a student.
And he has
what he was taught, and what he was taught as a student, and what he had read, and what he had heard from the great scholars of Israel, the historians. He said those are his personal views. His views are well known, and he has spoken out over and over again. When he was in Parliament, on the moral imperative of recognizing the Armenian genocide. He spoke about, it may have been him who had said, there had been someone in Israel who had said, if we don't recognize the Armenian genocide, look what will happen to the Jews. This was a statement made back way back.
Oh, okay.
I don't know exactly who it was who said that, but we can check that.
Yes,
I think,
so before the Holocaust happened.
Yeah, before the Holocaust.
Yes,
Before the
yes,
Holocaust.
I see.
Harut
Sassoonian?
Harut, he was good. He spoke very clearly about the moral imperative of recognizing the genocide, the close ties between Armenia and Israel, the expansion of programs between Armenia and Israel, and everything.
Rivlin's heart is 100% with the Armenian people and with recognition of the Armenian genocide. He expressed this position over the years a great many times. And at the same time, he begged us this morning to understand that as president, he also has to represent other interests of the government, and he can't follow his own heart as fully as he would like to. I don't agree. I wish otherwise. But there was zero question about the totality of his support. And during the meeting, he even one time referred to the Armenian genocide. We heard it with our own ears, let alone that he repeated over and over again. Everybody knows the facts. The history is clear. The conclusions are understood.
Yes, we must go now.
Thank you very much.
The highest, maybe the peak of the conference was the meeting with the president. I want to say the fact that he invited us to his residency is achievement for itself. You know, there are hundreds of conferences in Israel every month or every week even. He decided to make the step to invite us to his residency to say that he identified with the Armenian people.
Yes.
It was very courageous, and because I want to say, because the Israeli government does not recognize the Armenian genocide, all the governments, and he, as a member of the parliament and then of the speaker of the parliament, said many times that Israel has to recognize the genocide. But now he's another position. He's an official position as the president of the state of Israel. He decided to invite us. I know that there were pressure upon him. So regarding this invitation, he did not give up. The meeting was closed to the media. Even they decided not to make any something to the media. Usually they say a message to the media. They decided not to make it.
Not to make a press release.
Yeah,
Yes.
but he spoke with so great identification to the Armenian people, to their suffering. And he said several times, everybody knows what has happened to them. He said it very clearly many times. Now, he explained also the difficulties for him to declare openly that he, as the president of Israel, recognized the Armenian genocide. He decided for a while not to do it. Some of the people interpreted the fact that he spoke in so open way about the Armenian genocide, and he said one time he said Armenian genocide, as he recognized. I think we have to be honest. He recognized personally, I spoke with him also individually, he recognized as a human being, as a person, the Armenian genocide. He said it openly, also in his speech, he said it. But he did not recognize in the meeting the Armenian genocide as president, and I want to tell, we have to be careful, not to exaggerate. I think the importance of his act is great whatsoever. It's very meaningful. It's a message to the Armenian people. It's a message to the Jewish people. I think it's a message to humanity altogether. I hope he will go to Armenia. And he will, by this also, show his identification with the Armenian history. This is a great achievement. This is a great achievement.
We also know that the president is not the head of the state in Israel, and the head of the state is the prime minister today, Netanyahu. And the official recognition by the state is
it's very good point, but you know, it's we have a debate about.
But what is the role of the president in such?
The president is the symbolic leader of the state of Israel, no doubt about it. He has not a political direct power. This maintain is very admired, respect and loved by the Israeli people from all the political parties. He can theoretically declare that he recognizes as a president the Armenian genocide. But he decided for a while not to do it. You know, the German president in 2024 did it. And I know that the foreign minister of Germany was by him, and he was very nervous when the president said it.
And so what happened? No, but nothing happened to him after.
Of course nothing, and if Reuven will say it, nothing will happen to him. But he decided, you know, the relation between the prime minister and the president are very tensions.
Okay, well,
politically, even before they belong to the same party. He decided, and we have to respect his decision. He decided not to go further.
Okay.
He said everybody know what happened to the Armenian people. It's very clear.
Why do you think it is important for Israel that Israel recognizes?
Israel must recognize the Armenian genocide. It's a basic issue. We had to be the first one to recognize, but we are not. Unfortunately, we were not. I want to say, for me, and I said it publicly, when Israel does not recognize the Armenian genocide, but I want to say Israel not only does not recognize, Israel denies the Armenian genocide.
Yes.
We betray the memory of the Armenian genocide, we betray the memory of the Armenian victim, but in my opinion, and I am very strong on it, we betray the memory of other genocide and other victims of the Holocaust. and we have not the right to do it.
Today in the morning, you and the participants of the conference, including yourself, had a meeting with President Rivlin. What are your impressions from the meeting, and what are the key points that you would like to highlight about it?
Well, this is the first time I meet him, so I found the president to be a very nice man, very kind man, very pro-Armenian. He loves Armenians. He championed the Armenian Genocide recognition in Knesset for many years. And he told us very honestly, he said, as an individual, I know what happened. There's no doubt in my mind what happened. You know, he said, but as president, because the government has a different position, my hands are tied, so I cannot say the word. So he called it tragedy, he called them massacres, and he said, let's leave it to historians. And but at the end, when he was talking, he said Armenian genocide. And so it's, on one hand, I'm impressed by his nice character, very humane character. On the other hand, I'm disappointed because as president, if he thinks saying genocide is the right thing to do, he should say it.
Yes.
If he thinks that the government of Israel should recognize the genocide, he should say it. He should not be scared of saying, because there's nothing they can do to him. He's the president of the country. The prime minister has no power over him. They're not going to fire him or dismiss him. So I think he should have a little strength. So I hope that this meeting today, 1 hour meeting with him, and we spend most of the time talking about genocide. He said, I'm born and raised in Jerusalem. I know a lot of Armenians. They were survivors of genocide. So I know firsthand, there's no doubt in my mind what it is.
Okay.
But he kept avoiding the word because of the government. He doesn't want to say anything that goes against the government's position. But I took this opportunity to ask the president a couple of other things besides genocide recognition. I also must say that I have a book which lists different countries that have recognized the Armenian genocide, and I showed him the book, and I said there's one page missing in this book, the page belonging to Israeli government recognized the genocide. So he understood and he smiled. The other thing that we talked about, I talked to him about when I had a chance to talk to him. I told him that he should make an official visit to Armenia as president of Israel, because I think if he goes there, it will be a different atmosphere, and maybe he will say things that he would not say normally when he's in Israel. In Armenia during his visit, he would say things. I also told him that a lot of Armenians would like to come and visit the Jerusalem Armenian Patriarchate and Jerusalem, the holy sites, as the first Christian nation. But it's very difficult for Armenians to visit here because they have to go to Tbilisi, Georgia, to get a visa, and because Israel does not have an embassy in Yerevan. So I asked him if it would be possible for citizens of Armenia to fly to Tel Aviv and then get a visa at the airport. And that's what happens to Russians. Russian tourists, they get their visa at the airport in Tel Aviv, and Georgians also get their visa. And Georgians is strange because Georgians, there's an Israeli embassy in Tbilisi, they can get a visa. So even though there's an embassy, they can get a visa, they still can visa here. Armenians don't have an embassy and they can't get a visa here. So it's a lot of inconvenience.
So the function of the Georgian embassy basically becomes to give visa to Armenians.
Yeah, to Armenians, and then Armenians have to go all the way there. So he said, I didn't know that. He said, I didn't know that Armenians can't get a visa at the airport. So right away on the spot, he ordered his aides to look into it and make arrangements so that Armenians don't have to come with a visa. So if this happens,
it's a good point.
I'm going to get the credit for it.
Sure.
We also discussed, because I come from Glendale, California, where there's a large Armenian community, as everybody knows, and I asked him if Glendale and the Israeli city can be sister cities. So he said yes, we'll look into that. So we talked about many things, not just...
constructive suggestions.
Yeah, he made some suggestions, and he was very open to it. And I think he's happy, as long as we don't discuss genocide, he's happy that he's willing to do anything to make Armenians happy.
Yes, his personal position being different from the official position resembles also what Obama was saying about him personally believing that it was a genocide, and that I should say.
But you know, I would like to say about. Let me say something. When you're president of a country, you cannot say personally I believe this, but as president I believe this. You can't have two different beliefs. It should be the same thing. You know, I can't, for example, write one thing as an editor of a newspaper, and then I tell you, no, I believe something else opposite personally.
It sort of makes.
Yeah, it's really not. I don't think it's honest to do that. And if he believes that it's genocide, he should say it, and he should say that Israel should recognize genocide, and he should, as president of Israel, he should fight for the recognition of Israel over genocide by Israel. But he should not say, I believe it, it's my personal opinion, but I can't say it.
His belief must give him a commitment for pursuing the cause.
He should have the courage to speak out, speak what he believes.
Because this is not enough.
Right.
This is not enough.
Yeah. So that was the meeting this morning.